tonight, but I do want to ask all of you, if you are on our lines, we're going to ask everyone to mute their phones. And during our panel discussion tonight, you're definitely going to have an opportunity on the Facebook to ask any questions that you need to ask. We are very happy this evening to have with us again our Director of Health and Human Service, Dr. Griffin. We also have back with us again our Director of Planning, Policy, and Development, Dan Jennings. And we also have individual that folks are always asking about how to do business with East Orange and our purchase agency, and that is Lisa Jackson. So again tonight, thank you for joining us again for our COVID-19 weekly meeting. So those who need to join us via phone, please call 857-799-9641. I'm going to repeat that number, 857-799-9641. And you also can join us on YouTube. So with that, we are going to start off with our numbers, then we're going to ask Dr. Griffin to give an update, and then we're going to go right into our panel discussion tonight because we're very excited about a number of things. We're excited about some of the programs that we have been offering, and that is going very well, but there's still room for more people to apply for our rental assistance program, and Dan Jennings will be talking about that tonight. And also, folks quite often always ask about how do they do business with the City of East Orange. And we want folks to know that even though City Hall, the doors to City Hall is closed, but we are still a functioning business each and every day. Folks are in City Hall and we're still conducting business every day. So with that, very quickly, I'm going to ask Dr. Griffin to give out our numbers, where we at. Because each week that we have these discussions in our meetings, we always reminding all of our East Orange folks that with this pandemic, we still have to stay vigilant. We still have to make sure we practice social distance. And we've been hearing it all our lives in terms of washing our hands for 20 seconds. So again, with that, I'm going to ask Dr. Griffin just to give us the numbers of where we at in the City of East Orange and the county and the state. Dr. Griffin?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Good evening. As of today, within the City of East Orange, we have a total number of confirmed, of 2,158 confirmed positive cases. And that represents an increase in 31 cases since last week and about 53 since 2 weeks ago. As far as our COVID-related deaths are concerned, the good news is that we have not had any additional COVID-related deaths the entire month of September, and our numbers is still stable at 231. Within our wards, in the first ward, we have a total number of 357 positive cases. In the second ward, a total number of 412 positive cases. In the third ward, a total of 502 positive cases. In the fourth ward, a total of 491 cases. And in the fifth ward, a total of 487 cases. And so still, as we watch our local numbers, it's still very important to watch what's happening in the county and also in the state. And so within Essex County, there are a total number of 22,000 positive cases that have been confirmed, and that represents an increase in about 570 positive cases since last week, and also a total of about 900 positive cases in the last 2 weeks. As far as our COVID-related deaths in the county, there's a total of 1,906 positive cases, and that represents an increase in about 4 cases in the last week and 6 in the last 2 weeks. As far as the county is concerned, across the state, we're ranking as the second highest in the number of COVID positive cases. So it is something to watch, even though our local numbers are remaining relatively stable, even though we're still seeing some increases. Within the state, the total number of positive COVID-related cases is 216,023. And that represents an increase in about 6,173 positive cases just in the last week, and about 11,000 cases in the past 2 weeks. And so again, it's so important for us to not just focus on what's happening here within the city of East Orange. We've done as much as we can do to put certain controls in place, and we know that there are a lot of residents that have been very diligent about wearing their masks, washing their hands, and keeping their distance from other individuals. But even just driving around the city or going to the stores locally, we still see a lot of individuals who are wearing masks around their chins and not wearing them properly, or wanting to go into stores without wearing masks. And it's not something that we can afford, especially at this point, since we are seeing an increase in the number of positive COVID cases rise in the state. And we're also seeing it in surrounding areas too. So it's so important not to be comfortable with our numbers, even though it is a testament to how diligent everybody has been, but to still be cautious when you're out and about. I think it's also important to note that for the past 2 consecutive days, our numbers in the COVID numbers in the state have also increased, as well as the hospitalizations, the COVID-related hospitalizations. And so it's a picture of what's happening across the state, and being that there are no fixed boundaries here within the city of East Orange, everyone is traveling about, still it's important to do everything that you know to do and you need to do to keep yourself safe as well as your loved ones safe. One individual today mentioned something that I think bears repeating, and that's it's important for us not to let our guards down, and we need to be as cautious in private as we are in public. And so what we're seeing is we see a lot of people carrying their masks in their hands, and the moment somebody is approaching them or they think that they're going to pass someone who will hold them accountable, they'll put it on. And we need to do a little bit better than that. We need to make sure that we're wearing it at all times. We need to make sure that even when we're with friends or with family members, that we're still also protecting ourselves.
Thank you so much, Dr. Griffin. I'm definitely going to come back to you because you and I talk regularly, and we have a concern about that. We have a concern about, as you said, folks pretending to wear the mask, wearing it under their chin, and not properly wearing it. And again, we're starting to see the social gathering where people are really kind of congregating outside of the box of the 50 people, the 40 people. We're talking about now it's 60, 70, 80, and we have to be very careful. So I want to talk about that as we discuss, how important, this pandemic is, and people have to realize we're only in the month of October, going into the month of November, and this one, the experts say CDC and also you and others say this thing can spike up, and we come too far to allow that to happen. So I just want you to talk what's important. So with that, you heard it from Dr. Griffin, how important it is. Listen, we've been on this COVID for a long time. We're not letting off. We're going to stay on each other, making sure that we protect ourselves, keep ourselves healthy. But with that, we want the residents to know that we are still moving this city forward. During our COVID weekly meeting about a few weeks ago, we had Mr. Jennings come on, and Mr. Jennings is doing a great job with his department. But also, there was a rental assistance program that was being offered right here in the city. So what I want Dan to do is just give us an update on where we at, because there's still room for those out there who are still in need of rental assistance. Rental assistance, Dan gonna tell you again how it works, what you need to do. There's still room, and there's some agencies out there. So with that, Dan, you just give people just an overview of who you are. Everybody probably know who you are, but just an overview, and then go right into the rental assistance, some of the grant programs that we have, and we're gonna keep it moving.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership on this issue as well as many other issues. And so the rental assistance program, as the Mayor pointed out, was created because we know a lot of East Orange households have suffered a loss of income during the COVID crisis. And as a result, many households have struggled to pay their rent. So what we wanted to do is create a program that would provide relief for those households that are up to 3 months behind in their rent, a maximum of $3,500, and in order to get that money out to those needy households, we have partnered with 3 organizations. So the 3 organizations include Isaiah House and the East Orange Community Development center, both here in East Orange, and we also have partnered with a statewide agency, NJ Shares, which has a track record in offering both rental assistance and use assistance with paying utility bills. So the way it works is you have to be eligible, income eligible, your household. So for instance, if you're a household of 4, the maximum income you can make is $78,500. And again, we have an application that's offered through one of our 3 partners, and it will tell you all the income guidelines based on your household size. You need to submit proof of your COVID-related loss. So unfortunately, if you lost employment before the COVID crisis, you probably won't be eligible. So whatever income loss that you suffered, it's got to be COVID-related, and you have to demonstrate that. You can demonstrate that with a layoff letter, proof of when you got unemployment insurance, and through other means. But again, there's documents you have to submit to evidence the loss. We also need cooperation from your landlord. So the landlord can also provide some kind of letter to say that your rent is in arrears, and the landlord has to pledge cooperation. After all, the payments are made directly to the landlord. To date, by the end of this week, Mayor, we expect to approve more than 30 applicants. And as the mayor pointed out, we still have money available. So we encourage you to apply. If you have any questions, you can contact us or one of the 3 partners. And we'll put the names of the 3 partners in the chat room.
Thank you very much, Dan. So with that, because we know that program is very essential to those who need help. So again, as Mr. Jennings said, the information will be in the chat box. Also, I'm asking Connie Jackson to post the telephone numbers that you can call. Please take advantage of that program to all your individuals who need help with your rent. But I also want to talk about, Dan, because I know in your department, there are a lot of homeowners who have really, suffered through this COVID-19 also. And, they need assistance in terms of maybe a ball or roof or plumbing. What program do we have in terms for assisting homeowners that need of help and that can qualify?
Yes, Mayor. So we have a rehab program that we offer to households who are income eligible again. Again, you have to make 80, your household has to make an income that doesn't exceed 80% of the area median income. And if it doesn't, and you need a repair done to your home, whether it's a boiler, a roof, maybe there's steps, other items that are endangering the welfare of the resident, you can apply through our office. Amber Montgomery is the person in our department who runs the program. To get out more, or to approve more applications, we've partnered with Habitat for Humanity. So that's allowed us to approve more homeowners for this program, so we can process more applications. And again, if you have any questions, we look forward to receiving your inquiry. But we certainly welcome you to apply.
Right, and I thank you for that. So again, that number will be listed also and posted. Dan, let's talk a little about, because this is going to be able to allow me to go into a segue with Lisa Jackson in terms of how to do business with the city of East Orange, right? Let's talk about some of the contractors that's out there that want to come in and they want to get on our list to be potential bidders on some of the grant programs that we have in terms of, the rehabbing homes and things of that nature. How do they apply for that? And what's the qualifications?
So, Mayor, we do keep a list of local contractors. So when a homeowner inquires and they don't have someone that they have in mind, they can call our office, they can speak to Amber, and she will apply or provide a list of contractors that a homeowner can use. So we keep a list. So if you're a contractor, you want to be considered for the list, or consider being added to the list, please do get in contact with us specifically Amber Montgomery, and we'll see if we can put you on our list.
Thank you. Again, that's Dan Jennings from our Department of Policy, Planning, and Development. Please utilize those numbers. With that, I just want to talk quickly about, and I know that during this COVID we haven't done much, but I just want to talk about the first-time home buying program, how important that is to all of us, right? To give folks an opportunity, especially our young folks, man. One thing I do believe in, I'm a strong advocate of being able to have a pipeline with our young people who are interested in purchasing property or a home right here in the city of East Orange. And I think that really helps our city. What are we doing about first-time home buying?
Sure, Mayor. So we offer a grant of up to $25,000 that you can use for down payment assistance. Again, if you're income eligible. Vincent Da Silva in my department runs that program. So feel free to get in touch with him. But again, the good news about our program is that you can pair our program with other assistance programs. So sometimes we hear, okay, $25,000 is not going to be enough. You know, I need $50,000, $70,000, you know, as a down payment and to cover closing costs. Well, you can also apply to the state's program. A number of banks have programs, and so if you contact us, we can refer you to those other resources. One thing we do want to encourage, because again, some people who contact us don't apply for our program. So fortunately, the state has, and specifically the New Jersey Home Mortgage Finance Agency has a program, and their income guidelines are actually higher. So you can make more money and still be eligible for down payment assistance.
Right. And hopefully before the night is out, we'll post that number that you can call. I think it's so important. And Dan, thank you for that. You know, I just try to touch on some things that quite frequently when people see me, they ask me these questions. So with that, I want to go right into what we call our purchasing information, right? Procurement, right? And we know that it's so important that most of the time people want to do business with the city of East Orange, and they don't know how to do business with the city of East Orange. There's a lot of people that want to get on our vendors list. A lot of people want to become vendors. They want to become suppliers. So tonight, it definitely gives me great pleasure to have Lisa Jackson here, who has been spearheading our purchasing agency for a long time. So Lisa, thank you for being here, and I just want you to just give people an overview of just a background about yourself, and then we're going to go into what is the process in order to bidding opportunities with the city and what people need to do to establish, you know, a relationship as being a certified vendor for the city of East Orange.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor. Yes, I am Lisa L. Jackson. I'm the purchasing agent for the city of East Orange. I've been here for approximately 9 years, and altogether my procurement history is 25 years. But as the mayor was saying, here at the city of East Orange, our goal is to ensure that our municipality is in compliance with all of the procurement laws of the state of New Jersey. We do our best to maximize our taxpayers' dollars, so therefore we actually go out to bid so that we can get the best bang for our buck. But in saying all of this, we definitely encourage open and fair policies and practices. So if you're interested in doing business with the city of East Orange, I just want to make it known that the city engages in a varied of activities and providing services to its residents. There are many departments and divisions, including the police, the fire, public works, engineering, health and welfare, social services, property maintenance. It's just so many different departments, and that require equipment and supplies and services. So while it is beyond the scope of the information packet that I do have on file at my office for you all, any new vendor that's interested to pick up, we encourage that those who are interested in doing business with the City of East Orange, that you reach out to the using department with the good or the service that you have to provide. If it is of interest to our directors, in turn, they will reach out to procurement and we will set it up and choose the right method of procurement for them to obtain that particular commodity. A lot of new vendors that deal with private industry, they are not fully aware of the documents and the compliances that the City of East Orange and any government entity has to go through. So therefore, there's additional documents. For example, when doing bids, you must have a bid guarantee. That right there, without your bid, that's over $100,000, these particular services. If it's over $100,000 and the bid requires a bid guarantee and it's not provided, it will be a reason for disqualification. But on the other hand, there's the other documents, the non-collusion affidavit, the business registration certificate, the certificate of employee information report. All of these particular documents are not meant to scare you away. It's just to make sure that you are truly in compliance and you're a legitimate vendor. So if you haven't ever done business with the City of East Orange, our mayor, he encourages and he wants small vendors, any business to come and be a part of doing business with East Orange. Therefore, I am there along with my very knowledgeable staff to assist anyone that is interested in doing business, to assist you guys with the process. Mayor, I don't know.
So can you, and I'm glad that, because listen, we quite often hear folks say, you know what, Mayor, I want to do business with the City of East Orange. I have a supply company, or I do, you know, whatever, eyeglasses, I do this, I do that. This is a good way for anyone who is interested to do business with the City of East Orange to make sure that you have the right, proper credentials to do business here. Talk about the RFQs and RFPs. What's the difference between those two? Because sometimes people think the RFQ and RFP is the same thing. Explain to folks who are and want to do business with the city, what's the difference between an RFQ and an RFP?
Okay, Mayor. The difference, and that's a very good question because there is a difference. The RFPs and RFQs are basically when we're looking for our professional services. Those are the professional services is defined in the state of New Jersey as those particular professions that require having a certification, and not just a certification, but for example, if you are coming in as an attorney for one of our RFPs for an attorney, you must have a law degree. If you're doing engineering, you must have an engineering degree. These are requirements that must be there. So those are our requests for proposals. With that request, we're asking for the vendor to submit pricing along with their submission. With the RFQ that the mayor mentioned was request for qualifications. Request for qualifications is that the city, by ordinance, we have a set fee for those particular services. So if we were putting out a request for qualifications for attorneys, if the city set fee is $150, $125, we need not for the vendor to submit their price to us. We just need for them to submit their qualifications because it's already set in stone that that's the price that we will be paying per hour for whichever professional service. Now, that right there covers our professional services. However, we do have other services when we're going out to bid, that was mentioned. Bidding is when it's for the goods and services. Bids are based on the lowest responsible and responsive proposal that comes in. So if the bidder submits in a timely fashion in accord with the advertisement and all their documents are in order, that makes them responsive and responsible. And if they submitted it at the right time, it makes them responsive. If they're the lowest, they are the automatic winner of that particular bid. They will be awarded the contract. The other method of procurement is competitive contracting. Competitive contracting is more so for the grayer areas where it's not just based on price, it's price and other factors. So those other factors may be experience, it may be distance, it may be just whatever the department feels is going to be convenient for that service. And during that particular process, we must include in the bid packet the weighing criteria. So the price may be 40%, the experience may be 25%, but they all add up to 100. So this is made public to everyone before the bids are open. Once the bids are open, the committee reviews them, and whoever has the highest score actually wins that particular contract. So Mayor, I hope I answered the question with the different methods.
What can, two things, on your checklist, what you look for, you explain some of it, and what can disqualify a prospective person who's bidding? What can disqualify?
What can disqualify? The disqualification factors are if the proposal or bid document is turned in after the set time. So if I call for it at 11 and you run in at 11:05, you missed it. So it's just always just best to be on time or before time. The other disqualification, again, I mentioned earlier, is your bid bond. If you are missing a bid bond and it's required, that right there is a fatal flaw. There's nothing that the city or anyone can do. We're out of compliance, so you will be automatically disqualified. However, the laws have become a little more lenient when it comes to what was known as mandatory with the business registration certificate. They changed that law to make it where if it's missing from your package at the particular time of the bid opening, you will have time to submit it prior to the award if that is the only thing that is missing. However, another disqualification is your stockholder statement. Your stockholder statement is basically the statement that says who in your company owns more than 10% or more of your business. If that document is missing, according to law, you will become disqualified. And that's why it's so important, as the mayor mentioned, it's so important that if you're ever in doubt, feel free. He has the team that's there behind him and willing to show you all anything that you may need to know before going out to bid. I also recommend that if you've never bidded with or done business with a government entity, that you do reach out to the purchasing professionals. We can walk you through it. We will guide you through and make sure that your process is as smooth and worry-free and in compliance as possible.
Right, and that is great news that you just provided. Wow, I mean, because people don't quite often ask me, and you know, y'all guys are the experts. Let me ask a question, right? For my WBEs, NBEs, SBEs, right? That again want to do business with the city of East Orange. When you do the bid and selection, where do that happen at? Like, where do the bid selection happen? Once I bring in my proposal, do I drop it off in the mailbox, or I mail it in? How's that process done?
Well, in a normal situation, the bid process prior to COVID, we would have the actual bid opening publicly right in the city's council chamber. However, due to COVID-19, as the mayor mentioned earlier, business has not stopped. We've been doing bids and bids and bids. And what we're doing now, we're doing them virtually. So when you drop off your package, the instructions are listed in the invitation to bid that the drop-off will be currently in the rear of the city hall. We have a mailbox specifically for you to drop that off. Upon dropping it off, we'll have a staff person pick it up. Later, we'll bring them upstairs. We'll open them. We'll open them, but we will do it virtually. So those of you, when you download the specs from the website, That's the other thing. You don't have to pay for bid packages because they're all uploaded to the website. If you get your package there, you download it yourself, and there's no expenses that the city is incurring, so you guys get to have your bids for free.
Right.
But you will drop them off, and we will open them virtually. But when you download, when you go to the city's website, just know that when you go to click on the service that you're interested in, it may not open right up for you. You have to register first. Upon registering and submitting it, you'll be instructed to click on the document, and then it will open so that you can print it.
Great. So, and that's good, right? So, I'm gonna play devil advocate right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a small business, and over the years, you know, as a small business, I don't have the overhead like a large business, right? And throughout my years, I had my experience with government, right? Especially local government, because I can't wait too long to get a check. I can't wait too long to get paid. What is the turnaround time for a vendor? Just say they was doing service like doing some lights or putting in some fixtures. How long would it take that vendor? You know, just a question that people do ask, especially small businesses, because they need a turnaround time a little faster than a company that can wait a month or 2 months. What is normally a turnaround time for the person to get paid?
Well, Mayor, a great question, and I love that because it falls right into the Division of Procurement's goal. The government allows us 60 days to have to pay a vendor. You know, we have to have that paid out, but with the City of East Orange, we're always pushing to do things faster and more efficiently, and we try to give the right guidance to make sure that everyone knows what needs to be turned in a timely fashion. And the procurement's goal, Division of Procurement's goal, is to do 30-day turnaround. We have 2 council meetings per month, and all of the, before payments can be made, they must go on what we call a bill list and reviewed by the council, reviewed and authorized by the city council. So if we have those in every 2 weeks, if the vendor were to get their documents in a timely fashion right after their work, they can be paid in less than 2 weeks.
Right.
They can be paid in 2 weeks. 2 weeks will be the earliest.
All right, y'all heard that from Lisa. Y'all ain't hear that from the mayor.
Yeah, no, you
All
did.
right,
You did.
y'all heard that from Lisa Jackson.
If they have their work in on a timely fashion.
Right.
It's a very simple process. All we need, if you did the job, you did the job. You turn in your invoice, the using department checks off and certifies that that work was done or those goods were received. They submit it down to
Great.
procurement. Procurement, we close it out and turn it right over to accounts payable, and it's ready for payment. And so I must say that our procurement division is moving smooth, very smooth, Mayor.
I'm glad to hear that. So, you know, with that, you know, because I'm kind of going to bounce around it for a few minutes, and then I'm going to take some questions from Connie Jackson. Is there anything else that, as a new person who is just getting into vendorship or have a business, that you can recommend to make sure that they don't fall into any of the traps that you have saw over the years that some vendors and some suppliers fall into, that you can give them some quick advice not to do? I know I asked that question earlier in terms of how can a vendor go wrong, but what's some of the things that sometimes you find out from your experience that vendors go wrong at right out of the cup?
Well, Mayor, you know, the former teacher that I am, I have this logic that there's no such thing as a dumb question except the one not asked. And so when vendors take it upon themselves, if they're not sure about something and they don't ask, then guess what? They may slip up and not submit the documents that are necessary. I recommend that if you're new to doing business with government, to reach out to us. We will guide you through it. We've done it with quite a few vendors. We've helped out a lot of vendors become very familiar with doing business with government, not just with the City of East Orange. So we're not selfish. We show you how to do it with the City of East Orange, but along the same token, we show you how to do it with counties, the state, and any government entity. So,
Thank you for that, Lisa. Dan, I know we talked about rental assistance, we talked about some of our grant programs. Is there anything else out there in terms of your department, what you do? For instance, I know that we have a major rehabilitation project coming up. Can you just talk about that for a few minutes? Because really, with the Main Street and Brick Church project that's coming up, there may be folks that's out there on our Facebook page who can be encouraged to say, you know what, let me jump on this and become a vendor. Now I know what to do. But just give them an overview very quickly about our major development that we have coming on Main Street and around Brick Church development.
Yeah, so Mayor, we're as busy as ever.
Yes.
With our redevelopment pipeline. There is more than $1.4 billion worth of projects under construction and in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the projects are residential projects, multifamily residential projects, but a few projects in the pipeline include the type of retail that East Orangers desperately want.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most high-profile project is the crossing at Brick Church.
Yes.
Which features a new ShopRite. So ShopRite has signed up to be in East Orange for another 20 years. And so while that project is under construction, the new ShopRite's under construction, Mayor, you were able, and you and the city's council leadership were able to convince ShopRite to stay open during the whole time while the new ShopRite is under construction.
Right.
So we're hoping to break ground on that project next year. It'll take roughly 3 years for that project to be built. In addition, that project will include another major retailer, restaurants, opportunities for small minority-owned food entrepreneurs, and then 800 units of housing. So of the 800 units, approximately 18% will be reserved for affordable, or reserved as affordable. So we're very happy that we're looking at a very inclusive project. The other thing about the project is we were able, Mayor, under your leadership, the leadership of the City Council,
Mm-hmm.
to negotiate a community benefit payment.
Yes, yes.
Of a couple of $1 million. So we're going to be looking to do job training, outreach to MBEs and WBEs. Look at open space opportunities. Look at ways to beautify storefronts along Main Street and other corridors. So again, we're starting to think about those packages, but a big priority will be providing opportunities for local residents to get on the
Yes.
Brick Church project
Mm-hmm.
and other projects as well. Also, making sure we're outreaching and maximizing opportunities for participation by MBEs, WBEs, and LBEs. So I'll have more details to share within the coming weeks.
Thank you. And then I just wanted to give you an overview, but I do also want to personally thank you and your staff for a fine job that y'all do each and every day. And then with Lisa and her department, because it hasn't been easy working under this COVID for the last close to, I always use weeks, like 30 weeks that we have been at it, close to really 7 to 8 months. And Dr. Griffin can attest to that because we've been in this room. I think we probably only got a chance to really breathe when this thing started to settle down the last month or two. And we still can't kind of rest on our laurels because things are still happening. But I thank all of you for what you do each and every day. With that, what I want to do, I want to bounce over to Connie. And Connie, do we have anybody that has any questions on our trip?
Yes, so often I have to bring up issues or concerns, but I thought it would be nice to start off with a compliment to Mayor Green and Dan Jennings. This is from Deborah Thomas. She says, Mr. Jennings, the old Board of Ed property is looking awesome. Thank you to the Department of Planning, excellent location. So, there you go.
Thank you.
Now we'll get to the hard stuff.
Yeah, don't leave it on.
So, Dan, tell us about what plans may be in place for Freeway Drive East, opposite New Jersey Transit's Brick Church.
Yeah, so we've been, we worked with the county and some groups in Essex County to put together what we like freeway drives to ultimately look like. And so including how do we slow down traffic, putting in bike lanes, beautifying the experience. So I think the next step is really to pursue funding to implement some of those recommendations. So if this person wants to leave their number or email address, we'll gladly send them the plan that's been developed. And we would love to get some of their thoughts.
Okay, well, she does mention that at one point we know that there was a hotel convention center that was a possibility. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, okay. So I'm sorry, I was thinking Freeway Drive, but I think it's more focused on 2030
Yes.
Evergreen.
Yes.
Yeah. So our feeling is with the Brick Church project being in play and more looking like it's going to start next year, we think that's going to open up numerous opportunities for 2030 and other sites in that area. Like it's just going to generate so much interest, and the values of opportunities are just going to go up. So, within the coming weeks, we're going to start to focus on what we can do at 2030. Have conversations, mayor obviously, city council, the business development and zoning committee, about developing some parameters. But we're very confident on what can be built there. And I know a lot of people want to see a hotel there. I think it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when that's going to happen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got another one for Dan Jennings. Demetrisha Barnes says, we need more housing, after-school programs, quality clothing, and shoes, not just sneakers. Can you tell us about some new stores that have opened recently or are planned to open?
So we've had, since you've been in office, Mayor, we've had about 20 stores. We've celebrated the opening of 20 stores along our commercial corridors. Now, a lot of those places have been food places, but there has been, I think there was a place that does customized sneakers on Central Avenue.
Yes.
That's
yes.
one of the stores that's opened under your watch.
Yes.
So we are hopeful that more types of retail are going to be coming in, particularly in the Brick Church project. We are looking at ways we can provide shared space for entrepreneurs, because we know a lot of times it's tough for entrepreneurs to open up a storefront, do all the work that needs to be done, and make that massive investment.
Right.
So, a year and a half ago, Mayor, you sponsored the holiday pop-up shop, which
Yes.
gave vendors an opportunity.
That was a great thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're gonna look to do something like that again soon.
Okay. Now, this question is for Dr. Griffith. We took a while to open up our parks, but now there have been some complaints about overcrowding in the parks. Specifically, the basketball court on East Park Street is very packed on some days. So Dr. Griffith, can you please tell us what are the guidelines for outdoor play in our parks and what we are doing to ensure the safety of our residents?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. The mayor and I have been speaking a lot about that as well. As we watch the local numbers increase, albeit not necessarily here within the city of East Orange, but we've been proactive in our approach, and it doesn't stop. And so based on the feedback that we have been receiving, we've been in constant communication with the Department of Recreation, as well as the members of the health department, our health officer, as well as our inspectors, on increasing the monitoring of the parks. In terms of the general standard, there are supposed to be still limitations on the number of individuals that are either on our tennis courts, on our basketball courts. And so at no point should they be full. At no point should we be disregarding, even during those activities, the need for social distancing. And so in terms of the specific number, it varies based on the location and the space, but that's where the monitoring comes in. And so over the next couple of days and weeks, you'll start seeing an increase in the monitoring and the enforcement of what the standards are in those spaces, so that we don't see an increase in our numbers locally.
Okay. Dan, another question for you from Darlene Marion. With the Brick Church project, will Foreman Mills remain or will they close?
No, so Foreman Mills has, I think, 9 years remaining on their lease. So that they will still be at the site when the first couple of phases of the Brick Church project are built. So yeah, because remember, they're across the street from where the development's going to take place. They're on the west side of Harrison Street, whereas all the developments are taking place on the east side of Harrison Street.
That's it.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So listen, with that, everyone, we had quite a few great questions and answers back from our purchase agency. Also, Dan Jennings, who gave out so much information in terms of what they're doing in his department. And as always, we know that Dr. Griffin has given us really the best advice for all of us to stay healthy and safe. But I do want to ask Dr. Griffin, right? Because on our Facebook page, folks will start seeing that people are gathering, right? And people are starting to get a little lax, right? They know and they feel that we're out of the waters with this COVID, right? But there are still people who are being sick, getting sick. There's people who are still that have to go on 14-day quarantine. There's people who are still being hospitalized. And what we're seeing after watching our governor and listening to our CDC representative who talked about, now we're starting to see a number of young people, right? Teenagers who are now being affected with COVID, who are now going home and with mothers there, fathers, grandmothers, and affecting the family. So I just want Dr. Griffin to elaborate. And listen, we're not taking our foot off the pedal. We're not going to stop talking about this COVID until it's over. But until then, we are going to continue to making sure that we say it daily, the importance of keeping yourself safe. So Dr. Griffin, talk about some of the do's and don'ts and what we may have to do if we feel that folks are not following the rules and regulations here in the city of East Orange. And still with the governor's executive order is somewhat still in because they're still kind of monitoring things. What happened and what we're going to start doing in the city of East Orange in terms of finding people and shutting stuff down.
Absolutely. To the mayor's point, in the state, there has been an increase in the number of positive cases in younger ages. So whereas in the beginning, a lot of the focus was on the seniors and those with chronic conditions, now there's an increase in the number of cases seen between those who are 30 and 49, and then also those that are younger. And we know that a part of those increases is a function of this notion of invincibility. I'm not going to get sick, or it's not as serious as everybody has been saying, but the reality is that it could be. So why take the risk? You don't know how your body's going to respond to the virus if you come in contact with it. And you certainly don't know how your family members, whether it's a grandmother or somebody else who might not even be a senior, may be affected by it, because oftentimes we don't know the intimate conditions and health conditions of the individuals that we might even come in contact with on a regular basis. And so that's why I appreciate that question earlier regarding what's occurring in the parks and what we are preparing to do, because you've heard us talking about the fact that we're getting ready to entering into the flu season, we're entering into the holiday season, we're entering into winter. And all of those things basically complicate the situation of COVID. One, because with the holiday season looming, and also winter, a lot of people are now going to retreat indoors. And there are more activities that are going to be held indoors, so that space that's available outdoors is not going to necessarily be as accessible or even desired. And so it's still very important that as the holidays approach, that you still don't forget everything that we've been saying related to the importance of limiting your numbers indoors, not scheduling or organizing these larger gatherings, but try to figure out how you can pare it down a little bit so that you're not placing yourself at risk. A lot of the outbreaks that we've seen nationally have occurred in these types of familial gatherings. And so we tend to be more comfortable when we're around family and friends, and so it's important not to forget that. But as far as what we're doing as a city, if we see our numbers increasing, we will not hesitate to become more restrictive, because everything that we've done has been for with the safety and the health of the residents in mind. And we've been able to manage our numbers, but whether it's the parks or it's our stores, we are looking to continue to increase code enforcement or the enforcement of the executive order, as well as the general standards associated with wearing masks in stores before you enter into stores. And we're seeing an increase in the number of individuals trying to push back on that mandate, where either, you know, there are excuses that the masks were forgotten in their cars, or they don't necessarily need it because they just want to run into a store quickly and then leave. So there are a lot of different excuses that some individuals are offering, and we're watching it all. And if our numbers increase, we have an obligation to take action to make sure that this condition and COVID and the transmission rate locally doesn't get out of hand. And we're also, in terms of City Hall and our functioning, the mayor did mention earlier that we're still operating, and we still continue to look and explore how we're able to do business effectively even as the winter months approach, whether it's virtually or doing business by appointment only. So there are a lot of considerations that are and discussions that are being had currently, but one of the things that is foremost or at the forefront is the safety of the residents, making sure that everyone is safe while still having access to a lot of the services that they had before. And Mayor, I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't mention the fact that flu season is approaching. You have 2 additional weeks left of October, and the recommendation currently is that you get your flu shot before the end of October. We've had a lot of conversations regarding antibodies as it relates to COVID, but nobody really realizes that antibodies also apply to influenza or the flu. And so when talking about the flu vaccine, that's the reason why it's promoted. Is anything 100% or perfect? No. So are there situations where you may get sick between the time that the flu vaccine or the flu shot has a chance to fully take effect and your body develops antibodies? It's possible. But again, when you look at risk and you look at the season and the condition of our current circumstances, this flu season can't be thought of like every other flu season, because COVID wasn't present before now. And so it's really important to just remember that we have 2 respiratory illnesses that could be at play within the next couple of weeks. And if we want to keep our rate of hospitalizations down, and if we want to make sure that at least you have a greater chance of remaining healthy through the next couple of months, through the flu season, through the holiday season, and even until more is known with certainty about COVID and how we can continue to prevent it, please do everything that you can to stay safe. Yes. And that will include, for those that are open to it, taking the flu vaccine, and we will continue talking about the flu vaccine and the flu shot. But then also making sure that you're talking to your doctor. If you are looking for alternatives, speak to your primary care physicians or find one so that you can have that conversation with them. And we're always a resource at the health department, so you can feel free to call us as well at 973-266-5480. And lastly, we are still offering COVID testing also here in the city. Yes. And that is, we've reduced the frequency of it to twice a month. And our next testing opportunity, or at least opportunity for you to participate and receive the COVID testing through our site, is on Friday, October 16th, which is this coming Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Raleigh Park. We've moved indoors because the weather is starting to shift. Yes. And so that opportunity still exists for those that are interested.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Before I close out and go around to the panel, Connie Jackson has a question that someone has asked on our Facebook page or YouTube.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I asked this question so everyone could hear the answer. This is from Sherette Cornegay Hayes, and it's for Dr. Griffin. People who cannot afford health insurance, are there any discount clinics, dentist clinics, or eye care places with discount rates for preventative care?
There definitely are, and that's a wonderful question. You know, we partnered with different entities here within the community. So if you're looking for health-related resources, or at least a clinic, NCHC, Newark Communities Health Center, is available on William Street. They offer not only a sliding scale, but they also have additional opportunities for either subsidizing the clinical services, and they have options that can certainly be explored. I believe it's 44 William Street. And then also East Orange General Hospital can also do the same, whether it's via charity care or other resources. They also have different opportunities and still can provide care in the absence of insurance. As far as dental services are concerned, yes, there are, you know, clinics, there are different dental offices that also provide services. One actually recently expanded, and it's Academy Dental here within the city of East Orange, and they also provide a range of services as well as support to the residents. But if you have specific questions related to, or even if you've encountered challenges, we as a health department offer dental services for youth, and we're actually expanding it to adults as well, where we do have 2 dentists on staff, and they are able to provide that support, the preventative care for children as well as adults.
Thank you, Dr. Griffiths. And thank you, Connie. So with that, a lot of information has been provided. We thank all those who are still with us on the line tonight. What I want to do very quickly, I just want to go back to something Dr. Griffin said. And Dr. Griffin was very, very modest about it, right? If we don't do what we need to do, we're going to start shutting things down, right? So as the mayor, I'm going to give it to you raw. If the numbers start going up in my city, I am closing the parks. If the numbers go up in my city, we're going to have what we call our weekend shutdown, right? Which we had early part of this COVID. I'm going to shut down the skate park, I'm shutting down Elmwood Park, I'm shutting down Raleigh Park, I'm going to shut down all these parks, because at the end of the day, safety comes first and the health of the people of this community come first. So this is a forewarning for those guys or individuals who are walking around here in the parks with no mask on. We're sending a task force out, and if you're in that park and you don't have the mask on, you don't have doing what you're supposed to do in terms of social distance, and these things constantly happen, I'm shutting it down, point blank. So with that, I gotta take some water. So with that, I'm just letting the community know that as the mayor, and I'm quite sure as residents of this community, our safety comes first, our health comes first, and along with our director, along with our health officer, we're not going to tolerate us going backwards. We have been doing a great job in the city of East Orange, but we cannot get lax in terms of what we're doing with this COVID. So I just had to put that out there for y'all. So when y'all see the basketball courts shut down, when y'all see the skate park shut down, when y'all see Raleigh Park shut down or Elmwood Park shut down because people are not complying, again, as we always say, you brought it upon yourself not following the rules and regulations of this COVID, right? We got signs all around these parks. So just giving you a forewarning. With that, we want to thank everybody for tuning in, but I'm going to go around to my panel and just give them a couple of seconds just to close out, to have a closeout remarks. I'm going to start with Lisa Jackson.
Okay. Well, I just want to say I hope that the information that was provided as far as doing business with the city of East Orange was beneficial to as many people, and just know that we are willing and ready and available to assist you and guiding you to do business with government. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan James, if you have anything to close out.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So we recognize while there's a lot of good development happened in the city, there's also a lot of need because of the COVID crisis. So we've talked about a couple of programs to help address needs in the community, including our rental assistance program, Mayor, and our rehab program, our first-time home buyers program. We've also really placed more emphasis on working closely with our business community. So don't forget to look at the EO Shops local site. There, if you're a business, you can find resources that you can access. And if you're a resident, you can find businesses that you can patronize during this crisis. So, and Mayor, we're looking at other ways we can assist business, and we hope working with you, we can avail that within the coming weeks.
Thank you so much, Dan. Dr. Griffin?
Well, I'd like to say, or just remind the community that prevention is key. And so please continue to do everything you can to remain safe by continuing to wash your hands, continuing to wear your masks, continue to distance yourself socially, whether you're outdoors or you're indoors. And to the mayor's point, let's continue to enjoy all of the resources that are currently available to you outdoors, whether it's the parks or even our businesses, by also complying with these mandates so that we don't have to become more restrictive and start closing things down again because our rates are increasing. So we do, continue to wish you all good health, and feel free to contact the health department with any questions as we continue to navigate the next few months of flu season as well as the holiday season.
I told you, Dr. Griffin, a nice one. I'm telling y'all straight up, we shutting stuff down. The park, if you're not doing right in these apartment buildings by sanitizing, if you're not cleaning your doors or things that people touching with these elevators. If I walk into a store unexpectedly and you as the owner don't have a mask on, your workers don't have a mask on, if I walk into a barber shop, beauty salon, I'm telling y'all clear tonight, we are shutting you down. The health department, we're shutting you down. So let's do it right. Let's not half step. Let's not think that nobody's watching. We don't want to get anybody sick. If we're using your establishment, then treat the people who are walking into your establishment with respect and with dignity by making sure you continue to follow the rules and regulations of sanitizing. So again, to the public, if you walk into a store or a beauty salon or a barber shop or a nail salon and they do not have on those masks, please give us a call. Dr. Griffin, what is that number out there that they need to call?
Our number is 973-266-5480. And what I will say is that as much as I'm here providing information, we have shut many stores down already due to non-compliance. And we do hold the owners accountable for everything that comes and everyone that comes into those establishments. So Mayor will continue to do that and do it even more if we see those numbers increase.
Thank you so much. And our young people, you're not invincible. Wear those masks. You're not invincible. Wear those masks. Continue to follow the rules and regulations. It's important to all of us. So with that, I want to also, because for the last, 8 months, we've been really doing this COVID-19 weekly meeting. I want to thank Audrey, who's with us. See, she can say her own name now, who has been doing the sign language for us. She has been doing an outstanding job, but I wanted to personally thank her because she has been hanging in here with us. So, y'all out there, y'all can give her a little clap. That's good. Also, my staff who each and every week that we bring you the information, want to really thank all the city employees who, what they do each and every day, making sure that we run City Hall in a fine fashion. To all the council members who have been on board with us from day one, to all our first responders, and to everyone who has really been doing what they need to do to make sure we get through this COVID. We thank you for what you do every day. So with that, I just have a few announcements to make, and then we're going to close out. I'm going to go through this very, very quickly. Kind of gave me a lot of stuff that I asked for. So what they say, sometimes you ask for something, you don't ask for something you don't want, right? So with our communications and our swift reach, right? One of the ways to communicate important updates and messages is through our swift reach community notification system. So again, East Orange, please, if you're not on our list to get robocalls, information, please get on our list. And that's at eastorange/nj.gov, okay? Please go on there, become a part of our communication, swift communications. That's where we give you information about COVID during the winter months. If it's a snowstorm, we give you information about if garbage collection is not going to be done, it is going to be done. So please make sure you go on our website. Very quickly, our Recreation Smart After School program, please call the rec department for that at 973-414-4141 for our Rec Smart After School programs. I know a lot of parents would love to have that information. And don't forget about the up and coming this Thursday, the 3rd Ward meeting with Councilman Burt Lennis and Vernon Pullins will be hosting a community meeting, virtual community meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m. You know, you can go on Facebook page for all the details, or you can call the council office at 973-266-5120. Dr. Griffin misses our free COVID testing. Please latch on to that. Also, on Saturdays, we still have our food distribution to all those who need food. We'd like to thank our Councilman Burt Lennis, Vernon Pullins, and myself. On Wednesdays, also before our virtual meeting, we're giving out food. So all those families who cannot meet the timelines of during the day, getting the food, we do it every Wednesday, 5:30 at 120 Rhode Island Avenue. For those who need, East Orange residents, come on out. We all know that it's Fire Prevention Month this month, so we want everybody to stay safe. We're going into the holidays. Please, if you have any information that you need to obtain, please call the fire department. They give you all the information on the do's and don'ts going into this holiday, all right? Also, our fall cleanup. We're always excited about the fall cleanup because, to me, every day is our fall cleanup because we want to keep our city clean and green. So we're asking all of you who have block associations, tenants associations, our spiritual institutions, our stores, if you're in this community, please join us for our citywide cleanup, which is going to be on Saturday, October 24th. Please join us. For information, please call our DPW department at 973-266-5330. It's a lot of information. All right, also National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. We have a number for that. The headquarters, East Orange Lobby, East Orange Police Lobby. You can drop your medication off 24 hours a day, year round, into that box. Any medication you have that you're not using, you don't want the kids to get to, or anybody to get to or sell, come over to the East Orange Police Department, drop them off. Coming up, we're closing out our Halloween events again. We will be hosting a free spook movie night on Friday, October the 30th, because we want our city to be safe. I'll be honest with you, we are not recommending trick-or-treating under this COVID. We know that folks do want to go out, but again, a way to keep everybody safe and clear, and our director of our Health and Human Service Department, along with our health officer, approved this. It's much safer. We got drive-in movie coming up. It's going to be very fun. Trust me, you're going to really enjoy it. We got some treats there for you, and also some things we're going to scare you with. So please come out. And that day is October 30th, 8 p.m. East Orange Campus High School, behind East Orange Campus High School, drive-up movie. Please come and join us. I want everybody to join us. Also, the First Ward Council members, Chris James and Amy Lewis, will be hosting a trunk or treat at Sable Park. Saturday, social distance, October 31st from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Please join them. All right, with that, we know that yesterday was the last day to register to vote, right? So now we got crunch time in terms of making sure everybody who registered to vote, everybody who hasn't filled out their ballot, get those ballots filled out. We got drop box right here in the front of City Hall. Please, you know, voting is so important. This election is so important. As I say, every election is important, but this one is more critical. If you have any questions for us in terms of some information on voting, please call our city clerk's office, which you had last night. They had a voter registration drive last night, and I know that went well. But again, this is it. So let's make sure we get out and vote. Last thing, our census 2020 has been extended until, what day is that? Time.
It keeps changing.
Okay.
It keeps
So I'm gonna say it has been extended.
Do it right away.
Right, huh?
I'm telling people do it right away.
Right, just do it right away. I thought it was the end of this month, but let's keep making sure that all of you out there, if you haven't filled out the census 2020, please get it done. You can also go on the phone line. Let me get that phone line, 844-330-2020, right? Go and make sure you fill out the census. It's important just as well as making sure that you vote on Election Day on November the 3rd. So with that, East Orange, we're going to close out. We thank my panel tonight, Lisa Jackson. We thank Dan Jennings. We thank Dr. Griffin. We thank my team. We thank all of you for joining us for, again, 8 months of COVID-19 updates. Listen, we came a long way. We can continue to do what we have to do to keep all of us safe, all of our families safe, all our friends safe. We thank you for what you do each and every day. Let's go East Orange. May God continue to bless you. May God continue to bless your families, and may God continue to bless East Orange. Let's continue to do the right thing in our city, East Orange. Good night, and we'll see you very soon.